A group of guys were having fun, chatting about something and laughing while leaving a mall. "Hey, look where you're going," one of them shouted after bumping into an old man with messy hair and clothes at the door. The old man dropped jars of strawberry yogurt and went to pick them up. The group all laughed loudly. With disgust, Liam looked at the old man and started shaking and looking at his white shirt. He found a pink spot from the yogurt and shouted furiously at the old man. "Hey, a-hole, you ruined my shirt! Do you have any idea how much it cost?" But the man didn't hear him. He was gingerly holding the unbroken jars to his chest, muttering something like, "For my grandson Ethan," under his breath. "What are you mumbling, you half-wit?" Liam yelled. He hit the old man in the shoulder so that he almost fell, and wanted to hit him again, but one of the other boys stopped him saying, "Leave it. Don't bother with this nobody. He isn't worth it. Let's go. You need to buy a new shirt." He threw the old man a dirty look again, and the group turned back into the mall. The old man went towards the exit saying, "What kind of people are you?" Liam Taylor is a handsome young man from a rich family. He grew up in want for nothing and was fairly smart, confident, and very arrogant. Liam's parents left him the business and went to travel the world, living in various countries. The business was good and operated without much participation from Liam, so he just lived for his own happiness. Liam turned 30 today, and the group that unfortunately bumped into the old man was on the way to the party. Since he was a rich, successful, and fairly seductive person, Liam was very popular with the girls. He didn't want a serious relationship, and he was, according to himself, absolutely not ready for them, and not created in the slightest for family life. Bumping into that homeless-looking old man ruined Liam's mood a bit, but the fun group got him excited, and he forgot about everything that had happened. The party lasted the whole weekend and was a huge hit. So Liam went home late on Sunday. When he pulled up, the garage door was closed, and Liam got out of his car to open them by hand. Suddenly, he heard a woman's voice yelling his name. Liam turned around, looked into the dark, and asked, "Who's there?" A 25-year-old girl came up to Liam and said hi. "Do we know each other?" Liam asked. At one point, she responded and continued, "I need to talk to you now. It's very important and a matter of life and death." Not quite understanding what was happening, Liam responded, a little annoyed. "Who are you and what are you talking about? What do you mean life and death?" "I'm Mia. Don't you remember? Your son's name is Ethan, and he really needs your help. Believe me, it's very important. Ethan needs surgery immediately, and I can't afford it. Otherwise, he might..." "Babe, you've gone crazy. What are you talking about? I don't have a son. I don't remember you." Liam interrupted. "It was at your birthday party at the beach 5 years ago. Believe me, you're the last person I want to talk to, but I don't have another choice. Ethan could die," Mia said quickly. "Just leave here, crazy lady, or I'll call the police." "Of course, you made all this up." Liam shoved her angrily. Mia looked at him in silence. Her eyes were full of tears, and she had a frog in her throat. She wanted to say something else at first, but didn't, and just quietly disappeared where she came from. After parking his car, Liam looked around again, and after being sure there was no one else, he went to bed. Liam couldn't fall asleep for a long time. He couldn't get the words party, beach, Mia, son, and Ethan out of his head. Suddenly, he bolted up and remembered the noisy beach party where he was with his friends. After drinking some, Liam went for a walk and saw her. She was sitting alone, looking somewhere in the distance. Her hair. Liam remembered that he paid attention to a girl with a long braid with bright colors. He sat next to her and started chatting. He didn't understand why he couldn't take his eyes off her. She wasn't like those that surrounded him. She was different. She was gentle, shy, modest, and unusual. They walked on the beach, chatted, and just looked at each other. He drowned in her eyes, and her legs shook from his look. It was a special and the only night they spent together. Neither of them had ever felt something similar. He promised to return, and she promised to wait. And she waited. And he just forgot about her. She sat on that beach for many days in the same spot and cried. And then she learned she was pregnant. So that's how her son Ethan was born. When Ethan turned 5, He received a frightening diagnosis. He needed surgery immediately and rehab afterwards. She didn't have the money for it. So she stood before him and asked for help. Liam barely made it to the morning and went to look for Mia and Ethan. Considering that besides their two names and that the boy was in the hospital, he knew nothing else about them and searched for an entire week. He stood in front of the room that likely had his son in it and couldn't go in. Suddenly, the doors opened and the old man that Liam had run into at the mall and had been so cruel to came out. The old man was barely holding back tears and walked quickly towards the exit. When he was at the door, he couldn't hold them back any longer. A nurse followed him out of the room. "Excuse me," Liam asked, nodding towards the old man. "Who is that?" "What do you mean, who? That's Ethan's grandfather. He brought his grandson his favorite strawberry yogurt. He's completely falling apart. When he received the diagnosis, his daughter and he sold everything they had, even their home. Now they sleep here with Ethan. But they still don't have enough money." She suddenly realized she was talking with a stranger. "Excuse me, but who are you?" she asked strictly. "I'm a friend," he barely said since he could feel the tears coming. "Can I see Ethan's doctor?" he asked the nurse. She nodded in agreement and motioned for him to follow. Later that day, the doctor told Mia and her father they had the money for the surgery and rehab so they could prepare Ethan. "What money? From where?" the old man said, surprised. "I paid for it," Liam said, standing in the doors. "Forgive me, I'll fix everything," he said guiltily. When he saw Liam, the old man immediately recognized him. "Get out of here," he said. "Fine, I'll leave. Just please take the money, since Ethan needs it," he answered. When the doors closed, the old man looked at Mia and said, "There's only pain and tears from people like him. They don't change." It was the day for Ethan to be released. His surgery was successful, and so was the rehab. He left the hospital holding his mom's and granddad's hands. Liam was standing there with a huge bouquet of flowers and a large box wrapped with a red ribbon. A present for Ethan, it seemed. "Forgive me, I'll do everything to fix my mistakes and make it all right," he said to them on his knees. Mia and her father looked at each other. He took Mia's hand, exhaled, and said, "It's for you to decide, dear. I won't be against it. He is the father, after all." "Okay," Mia said. "Leave me your number, and once we're settled, I'll call you." "No, please, come stay with me. Please. Since your family, my home, is now yours." Mia and her father looked at each other and realized that they would accept. Liam took Ethan's hands, kissed him, and they all went home together. Liam had never been so happy in his life. He had never wanted to love, protect, take care of, and be responsible for his family like that either.